Alright, so before we get started today, my birthday was actually yesterday. So I'll be doing a birthday giveaway and I'll be giving away 3 packs of sleeves for the lucky winner, which all you need to do is just comment something down below, like the video, and make sure that you are subbed. And I'll be giving away a Dragon Shield pack of sleeves, Imperium Duelist, and also Sleeve Sheath. So you get something from every single one of my sponsors, which of course I'm very grateful for them. And you'll be able to win those sleeves. And of course, I also wanna talk about my presents that I got from my husband. I know this has nothing to do with the video, but I just want to showcase this because he got me the entire collection. I don't even know how to put this in the frame of Game of Thrones books, all in English, and they're like bound in this very pretty like leather. And I'm reading the second one, so that's why it's not here. But he got me this collection, and I love it. I'm so excited. So I wanted to share it with you, of course. And he also got me, I only have a box here, but he got, well, both of us, he got us a Switch, which I just think it's so on brand because Switch tournaments are like everywhere in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. But yeah, he got us a Switch so we can grind Mario Kart. That's what's up. That's what I wanted to share with you in the intro. Thank you for listening to this. Please make sure to comment something so you can be entered into the giveaway, like the video, and also make sure you are subbed as well. So yeah, for this video, we have to talk about Rikka. And I'm sort of a little disappointed with myself that I haven't done this video. I really thought that I did on how to beat Rikka, since it's such a running joke that no one really knows what Rikka does and it just keeps on winning. So I'm gonna be doing this video today and hopefully you learn something from it and it's gonna help you win against Rikka in the future. So yeah, we have a couple cards to discuss, like the most played hand traps, going first cards, going second cards. We're going to talk about everything. And if you have any of your own ideas, make sure to share that in the comments down below as well, so more people can win against Rikka. So for the first card, we're going to be talking about Ash. And sort of the best point of interaction would be to Ash Sunwine Sowing. It's going to be able to provide them a body and it just keeps their plays going. It's usually the best thing to Ash because Ash is not that impactful, so you want to use it on something like that and sort of pair it with other things. But Ashing Sowing is very good. Like, it's the best you can do probably, unless they have Glamour and they don't really have the like Sunwine part of things. If they only start with Glamour and just want to get their plays going, I would probably Ash it, since it's almost safe to assume that they don't have additional plays. If they do, it's not ideal, but that's why you kind of have to pair multiple things, like I said. But Ashing Sowing is like probably the way to go. Also, if you're really afraid of them getting access to the field spell or the Rikka sheet, you want to Ash Mudan or just hit it with something else as well, because we're going to be talking about targeting negation next. So Impermanence, Veiler, those types of cards, you can use it on Mudan if you want. It's this card that just kind of low-key, gets them all of this advantage because the field spell is so broken. So if you want to just deal with that, that's very safe and fair to do. But you can also hit the Jasmine because it's going to provide them with additional bodies and plays and all of that. So yeah, Jasmine is like probably the most important thing to disrupt. If you have targeting negation, you need to keep in mind that they are able to make a second one, but if you just wait for them to use the hard once per turn effect, you should be good. And with Nibiru, it also has to do with Jasmine. You want to use it before they get value off of that card specifically. So you kind of want to look out for the Omni Negate as well, because they're able to put up Regulus. So if for some reason they put it up early, it's kind of sad. But other than that, they probably will play into Nibiru. Actually, almost certainly they will play into it. So you just want to use it before they get any additional pluses. As for Draw, it's this card that was always said to be okay against Rikka, but the truth is that it really depends on their hand. Like, if they have enough access to some of their important cards, you drawing them is not going to prevent them from building some type of board, because they're always going to be able to achieve at least something. If they don't go for the full board, they still might put up 2 to 3 disruptions regardless. And with the draw, you are shutting them off from quite a lot of things. If they're just going for like the basic combo, they're going to search in the combo. So you are shutting them off, but it's going to depend on the hand. And you probably don't want to rely only on draw, but you do need to keep in mind that sometimes two hand traps, like an Ash and a Joel, for example, I'm pretty sure we saw that on a feature match, are probably going to end their turns. So just try to side in enough things in games 2 and 3 and have enough things in the main deck to be able to fairly consistently disrupt them with multiple things. Then we have DD Crow, which is a really useful card in today's meta, I think, and against Rikka, it also has its impact. You can use it on the Loci in the graveyard because it's usually going to be the quote-unquote target, although I'm not sure that every single of the effects is actually targeting, but it is going to be the card they want to summon off of Amelias, or however it is pronounced. And also the Sunseed Twin, all of these ones just have a lot of connections with the Loci, so if it's the only one in the graveyard or if they target it, you can get rid of it. There's also Rikka Princess, which of course is a negate in there, so you want to get rid of that as soon as you can. And also when it comes to Petal can just mean a lot of follow-up for them, so if you can cut them off from that, I think you should be fine, and DD Crow can be used on that as well. And moving on to another hand trap, our very beloved Shifter. You know, if they're cut off from the graveyard, none of their resources are there, which is very useful. They need all of these like revive effects and all of that. Princess in the graveyard, just like I said, you know, Petal, all of these cards. And if you just completely get rid of their resources, or I guess force them to get rid of their own resources and put them in the banner zone, I think that's pretty good. So Shifter is going to be impactful. So let's talk about some other going second cards besides hand traps. Back row removal is actually really important, and it might not be that obvious because they put up a lot of monsters, but if you think about it, if you're using a Droplet or Dark Ruler No More or something like that, you're only dealing with a part of their board essentially. They still have their Concon, which is just a custom card, as I always say. They have the sheet. And of course, what you want to ideally do is get rid of all of the disruptions. So back row removal is actually going to be really useful. You can just use Cyclone, Harpies, Lightning Storm, whatever it may be, but please get rid of all of these disruptions. And we already talked about Ruler, Droplet. You can just negate the field. That's also going to be helpful. But Rikka Princess is still in the graveyard. That's something to keep in mind. And also, Ruler and Droplet cannot be responded to by their Omni Negate, but if you're trying to play some other impactful cards that are going to like wipe the field, for example, like Dark Hole, Raigeki, you want to bait out their Omni Negate first. So keep that in mind and try to bait it out if you can. And also, you need to think about the fact that Sunwine Sowing is going to protect a Link plant. So that's going to be probably the Bengal answer in the extra monster zone. So that can be protected from destruction. And also speaking about other cards that would have to like be used after you bait something out evenly is a really, really impactful card, but you do want to make sure that their Omni Negate is gone before you use it, because at that point, you are most definitely getting rid of all of their resources. And you also need to keep in mind, if they have a Petal in the graveyard and no monsters when you are done with your turn, they can summon it out, or if they only control plants. So they have follow-up, and if they kept something in hand or whatever, but other than that, you are cutting them off from most of their resources with evenly. The only thing is that they still have probably a Princess in the graveyard, so if they choose to keep a Rikka, they have an additional disruption, so that's something to keep in mind. And how to actually deal with Rikka Princess, one of the ways would be Called by the Grave, which I know it's not amazing. That's not a great answer, but I don't know, if you have it, you can use it on Princess, but you need to keep in mind that part of the effect is cost, so you want to preemptively use Call By, not try to negate it later, because that's not going to be possible. But also we have book cards, and we're going to talk about like book type effects when we're talking about going first cards, but as for going second, if you're trying to book the entire field, of course, after baiting the Omni Negate, if you use Eclipse, they also won't be able to use Rikka Princess in the graveyard, because you would actually have to control a Rikka. And as we all know, when the cards are flipped down, they don't have any kind of name anymore. So it's not a Rikka, even though it is a Rikka. Now, Talons and Trust see a lot of play in the meta, and they will use their effects during your turn. So those cards are most of the time going to be live. And with Talons, you can just try to force additional things by threatening to take. And with Trust, you can just go ahead and get like a Harpies or something that's gonna also be able to deal with some other parts of the field. So those cards, I think, are quite useful if you play them already because of of the meta. The only thing that's a little annoying is the fact that the Tree Beast is able to negate spell cards as well if they play it that way, so that's an additional type of disruption that's not just for monster effects. We also have Ultimate Slayer, which again, if they have a spell negate, it's not ideal, but you can get rid of specific things because they put up a lot of different things on the board, so you can actually decide what you want to send and then get some kind of plus off of the thing being sent to the graveyard. There's also Kaiju's, Lava Golem, and Sphere Mode. If you can play it in your deck, they are going to put up quite a lot of things actually. So with Kaiju's, is that if that's the only thing you can realistically afford to play in your deck, then you just want to get rid of the most I guess threatening thing. It really depends on your hand, but with Lava Golem and Sphere Mode, there's a couple decks like Labyrinth, for example, that can just very easily incorporate those cards in their strategies. So if you can do it, you might want to do it, yeah. Okay, so for going first, there's obviously floodgates. Like, they're all plants, so except for the Regulus, there can be only one is going to be impactful. They also, a lot of them actually have different attributes. So Goza Match is nice, but just all in all, floodgates are almost always going to be useful against, you know, combo decks like Skill Drain, for example. It's not amazing to play under Skill Drain or like a Summon Limit or something like that, but for the most part, cards that are like just really, really good and can be incorporated in different strategies, not just trap decks, would be there can be, and also Gozen. And I talked about book type effects before, I should say, like Book of Moon, Daruma Karma Cannon, anything that flips cards face down. It's not that easy to play past that if they start with the loci, because you would have to have some kind of extender to push past the book effect. So usually how I would play against Rikka is just try to book the first thing they do, which if it's a loci, preferably a normal summon loci, then I'm really happy and I just book it and I just cross my fingers and pray that they don't have an additional thing, and most of the time it's actually going to be enough. That's actually it for all of the cards. Hopefully I covered everything. I tried to come up with as many ideas as possible because it's really gonna depend on how you build your deck and if you have like built-in disruptions that can help you, but for the most part, to kind of recap it, try to Ash the Sowing, use Imperm or Veiler on the Jasmine effect so you cut them off from having the full board, or if you're really afraid, just use it on Mudan. For going second, try to value back row removal as much as you're valuing cards that actually deal with the monster part of the board. And for going first, book their stuff, use their can be, Gozen and stuff like that, and I think you should be fine. The deck is good, but it also needs a very skilled pilot, so if you're up against someone that's not as well versed and doesn't really know how to play against different cards that you throw at them, I think you should be in a favorable position, and hopefully this video helped you with getting there. So if you enjoyed, make sure to like it. Also comment so you may be the winner of my 3 sleeves giveaway, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.